little innocuous thing you do over and over and over.
Stop it. Okay. Okay. Very interesting videos, right? Now I want to engage you to discuss this, not me, all of you. Okay? 3 important points: coffee cup, bagels, and Noah. Right? I will talk about the coffee cup later. I want to talk about bagels and Noah. You may say, "Wow, I haven't finished my university yet. I have yet to do that." No, you get to learn it now. Because when you go to university, as Dr. Lex says, it's not an internship program. You have to be in a real life right away. Correct? So you need to learn that. Now, any of you, I will see, if you go to university, you overseas, people will raise hand to have comment. Proactive. Okay? So when I say, any of you want to comment on what do you learn about bagels, raise your hand. Come on. If you're not raising your hand, you're not ready to go study overseas, man. Anybody want to comment about bagels this now? Siapa? Oh, cool. Please. See, before you say anything, when I first went to college in the United States, when a professor asked you questions, a lot of students raising hands, and the professor would choose which one to answer. That's the real university overseas. Mindset has to change, okay? So what I'm trying to do is to instill the mindset for you to prepare to change if you want to go international. Are you with me? Huh? Okay? I like that. Okay, next question I ask, I would love to see people raising hands. Please? Okay? Energy? Okay, please.
Okay, thank you. My name is Musa, and I would like to comment on what I view on the bagel analogy. So, people either see the destination or the endpoint, or they see the objects or obstructions which you would have to go to get to the thing that you want. And they used an analogy of getting in line to get a bagel, or seeing that free bagel as the destination. And I think that can be a very important strategy for us to implement on a larger scale if you want to be successful in life in general. Like, how I relate that to myself is during my process of picking a university and seeing the opportunities after undergraduate, like jobs or maybe continuing my graduate program. I see that as my endpoint being getting the dream job that I have, that I want, And of course, there's the process of having to go through university first and graduating from that. And that's a long, and it's, of course, I don't think it's going to be that easy. But as long as I keep on focusing on that endpoint of getting my dream job and just being me in life, and I think that will be my strategy, and it will distract me from the obstructions. That's what I will hold as my motivation to keep on going. I think that's my point.
Excellent, Musa. A round of applause for him. So focus on your bagels. Forget about obstructions. Going through the process. It's not easy. Persistent. Keep looking at the bagel. Right? I hope you remember that. Very important lesson. Anybody want to comment on Musa's comment? Come on. Good. Yeah, it's not just people raising hand now. That's what I want.
Hi. Yeah, I'm Noah. So I was would say that the vehicle is an incentive for us to grow, to get bigger, even though we're going to say that it is an endpoint for us to achieve. But I will say that the vehicle itself is actually an incentive for us to, like strive for our future. Because we know that even though there are like a lot of sponsors that will give the vehicle in that race, there will be like a limited amount of vehicle. Therefore, the one who runs in that instead of like the one who's waiting in the line, they have like the different starting point. They have like there is no equal chances there. Therefore, if we, like in terms of vehicle, it's like it's happening even though it looks like it's an endpoint for us, it will like encourage us to to run to get what we want to get, and eventually we will be granted the freedom for us to do whatever we want with that vehicles in the end of the day. And I think the analogy of like like the difference between people running and people are waiting within the line is basically the repercussions of our our strategy in achieving what we want. Because eventually, if you're all like waiting in the line, there will be a chance for you to not get the vehicle. So I think this life, like that.
What's your name again?
Hilman.
Hilman.
Thank you, Hilman. Round of applause for Hilman. Bagels stay focused, but there are still different types of bagels, right? Depends on what we want. So commitment, stay focused, consistency with discipline will take you there, right? That's real life. Same when you go to university and afterwards after university. Thank you. One more comment on bagels. Anybody? Come on, if you're ready to go to university, overseas, to US, if you're not speaking up, you will not be able to compete. Anybody else? Good. My fellow Stonewall graduates, you make me proud, man.
I'm January. Nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Javier. Javier.
Javier.
You can call me Javier. So I want to comment to Musa and the bagels. So it's not just about you cutting line and take the bagels. I mean, it's like you have to be patient. You have to stay focused, stay in line. Don't just cut the line, and you gotta choose what you want, not just pick a random bagel. You gotta work hard, but have a great, like a focus purpose to the bagels, not onto the line. But you gotta wait in the line. It's all about patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Javier. A round of applause. Real life is a process, patient. Later on, I'll tie in later on with one of the businesses that I'm signing. I mean, I've started many businesses. I have a few different business portfolio in building material, property development, and others. But recently, 2018, I involved in a lot of tech startup. Okay, with the young people, a bit older than you, and then I also learn a lot, and that's exactly the type of process that I want to share it on with my techpreneur journey. Okay, but good job, thank you. Now, Noah. Anybody want to comment on Noah? Come on. The low energy side. Anyone? Except you, Hilman, you done that, right? You want to comment? Sure. See? The rest of you, this is a good example, okay?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Noah Kiki. So regarding what Noah is basically, it is about how we choose our environment in the world. Basically, if we want to be free, if we want to express ourselves, I think that is the most prominent or the most important things to search in a job, because basically it will incentivize us to do more if we're fighting basically with our work environment. And otherwise, if you there's a lot of pressure in our workplace, it will hamper us to develop, it will hamper us to to give more. And I think it will not be beneficial for the industry. Like, take an example, if no one works in the place where the manager will oppress him all the time, there will be likely for Noah to actually develop, and it will also have the progressivity of the the industry. So yeah, I think it is basically about yourself, but also about the industry on how you need to provide a good environment for the workers to feel themselves, to express their passion, and having a lot of freedom to do what they want, but give them a little restriction.
Thank you. Round of applause for him. It is the environment that create two different moments, right? Okay. My next question is though, who is responsible for the environment? Noah or Noah bosses or the company? Anybody want to ask? You next, okay? Your name?
My name is Nicholas Salim, you can call me. My name is Nicholas Salim. Nicholas.
Okay.
So, technically, the most responsible people that will provide the environment is the leader. Is the leader and the team. So, it's okay. So the most responsible people of the team is the leader, because I'm looking at the quote of the Napoleon. If you build an army of 100 lions and their leader is a dog, in any fight the lions will die like a dog. But if you build an army of 100 dogs and their leader is a lion, all dogs will fight as a lion. So the most important thing in team is the leader. Not just the singular leader, but all the teams must be equal. I think like this, if we gather so many smart people in one team, but if they cannot cooperate each other, cannot tolerate each other, they cannot work together, so the result is really, really bad. It will be just a chaos, because the smarter one wants to doing like this, and the other will doing another thing, but they cannot cooperate. I rather choose the most stupid people in this world to work with me, because if the leader was right, even the most stupid people can make a big difference. That's the thing. So the most responsible for the environment and the output of a team is the leader, is the mastermind of the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. Round of applause, please. True. Is the leader that creates the environment for all the people to feel comfortable, work together, be a good team player, etc. Okay? At the same time, each of us in any environment are also our own leader. We also have to lead ourselves to work with other leaders, right? For example, Noah, he is comfortable with 4 seasons, right? Because the environment and leaders are good. But if Noah himself is not cooperative or link himself to be cooperative, would that happen? No. So it goes both ways. Okay? Thank you. The next name?
Thank you. My name is Layana. I actually have similar opinion and statement with Nicholas that from the video I can conclude that great team or company is created by great leadership, not just the right people. It was shown in the Noah story that he's still same person in Sister Police and in the fourth season, but he have a different mindset because the different environment that make him. And in Sister Police, he hate his job because the environment, because the manager, he just want to work to get his paycheck. Whereas in the fourth season, he loved his job because the manager was supportive, the environment support him, and he loved his job. And actually, he performs better and got better result in Four Seasons when he loves his job, not just want to get a paycheck. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonard. Round of applause. Very good point. Again, at the end of the day, which Noah you want? Noah at Four Seasons or Noah at Caesar Palace? Siapa? Four Seasons. Yeah? Why?
See, I'm engaging you now. Talk. Come on, stand up, stand up, stand up. I want to know your name.
My name is Jyoti. Jyoti.
J-Y-O-T-I.
Jyoti.
Jyoti.
Yes.
Good.
So yeah, obviously I want to be Noah in Four Seasons because I can really be myself in there. And that's the point that I want to be in life, that I want to be in a place or in the environment that really me, you know what I mean? Because yeah, as a leader, it is important to like take your person in your organization to be where they're meant to be. I mean, in terms of their interests or their capability, for example, so for example, if your students or your member is good at physics, then put your member in physics, not put them in biology, please. Something like that. So yeah, just put yourself in the good environment. So yeah.
It's okay, right? If you want to go study abroad, especially in the United States, you gotta speak up. Okay? If I see none of you raising your hand, like, oh, come on, man. So, mindset has to change. Okay? Although, tadi ada sedikit curhat ya, that's okay, no worries. Okay, but the point is that, okay, you want to be Noah at Four Seasons, but remember, it starts with who? It all starts with you. Prepare yourself now, as we speak. You know, BIM program, you know, the whole program for you now is preparing you, but start now with that kind of mindset. Right? Now, I talked a bit about my tech startup. I involved in tech startup 2018. Okay, I have 2 failed startups. Back then, I supported younger generation to start a startup. You know, I raised funds for them. I kind of like advised them, and unfortunately failed. There are a number of reasons why they failed. Because a lot of the younger generations, younger people, they do not have enough experience to run a startup for a long haul. Okay, a lot of other reason too. You know, great and some of the things. I won't go into that details. Okay, but it failed. I learned from that. Then during the pandemic, I have another group of young people started a new startup, which I guided them very, very clear from the beginning. And it's getting better and better. And last year, I decided that I would become the CEO of the startup myself. Okay, that makes me one of the oldest tech startup CEO in this country. I'm 55. Okay, so automatically, the whole average age of the startup is increased because of me. But I have a lot of young people supporting me. I think now I have a total about 20 plus people now, 20s, 30s, and I'm 55. My COO, I think about 50, 20 years younger than me. Okay? The reason being, I wanted to guide them first, okay, in a certain way, and one day I'll pave the way for the younger generation to take over. Now, the reason I mention that because it's so important for me to inject a lot of mindset to the younger generations. And I started spending a lot of time
instilling the culture in this young startup. Exactly the culture that Simon Sinek just shared. I am creating the environment whereby our young people can perform and love their job. It's my job to create the environment. So I will not be a person like a policeman looking for you are doing something wrong and punish you. No. But I will go to my team, look, how can I help you to do your job better? Do you need this? Do you need this training? Do you need my help? So I influence them in kind of way. That's so important to instill the kind of culture. Okay? So that eventually you love and your job and eventually will take it to the new heights. Okay? But it takes two to tango, meaning my team also want to be able to open up to me, speak up, right? And I really like in a meeting room, I like people to debate with me. You know, debate with a good reason, debate for good for the company, not for personal reason. So that's the kind of culture. Okay, typically in our country, it's not that polite when you speak up with someone. I mean, I wouldn't say myself senior, but I'm senior. You know, right? But it's okay for me. If you want to debate, let's do a debate, but do it professionally. Use the proper language and things like that. Okay? So I encourage that. For a young startup, it's so important to build a culture right from the beginning. And I'm building it now. In fact, this video was shared last Friday during the internal training of my startup, which I asked my team to discuss this. The same kind of engagement I'm doing. It's so important. Okay? And so relevant. Okay? So, lesson learned. Okay, I will not talk about the coffee, and perhaps we'll see how it goes. The coffee part, I will talk about it later, but the most important thing is bagels and Noah. Remember that from now on, especially now when you start to look for universities. Put yourself, what kind of bagels you want. Right? The University US, plenty of those. As Dr. Lett said, ranking is important, but the most important are what kind of majors you want. So the bagels here ought to be the majors, not university rank. That's number one. Okay? Number two, what kind of NOAA you want. Right? Be the kind of NOAA at Four Seasons. Right? Not at Caesar's Palace. Okay? Now, I will now ask upon my colleague Pak Givi to share a bit on his experience on Ohio State. Pak Givi graduated from Ohio State 1997. What, electrical engineering. So he will share a bit later on. And later on I call upon Chloe, 2017, industrial engineering, to share a bit your thoughts as well. Okay? Are you guys ready? 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 Always more energy here. I don't know why. Okay, please. Thank you. Round of applause for Pak Givi.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Enaknya bahasa Indonesia atau bahasa Inggris ya? Let's mix it up. Kadang-kadang bahasa Inggris is tiring also. It's okay. Yeah, like Pak Tony said that I graduated from Ohio State, class of 1997, and in computer and electrical engineering. Today I'm a professional in cybersecurity. I'm also a public speaker for the events and company. I consulted them on IT and cybersecurity. And in today's technology, blockchain, AI, everything, cybersecurity become very important. But I think talking about that is a bit boring. Yeah? I mean, you guys already have a lot of studying on your majors. Yeah. I want to talk about the experience from my perspective. During my years, I met a lot of alumni, gak cuma dari Ohio State, from Indiana, from Illinois, from Berkeley, Harvard, everybody. It's good to go to school. You are lucky if we can go to school overseas, whether it's United States or UK, Europe or Australia, because they are broken thinkers. But again, like John Wayne mentioned, you have to be, what do you call it, Noah, who is proactive, because I see the Indonesian student as a bit shy when they ask, okay, what do you think? What do you think? And if you go to university, you will compete with Indians, with Chinese, with Americans, everybody. They are crazy active. If they ask questions, they raise their hand, they answer. If they get assignment, they do it as fast as they can. So you will compete with those people, not just Indonesian, but all over the world. And Ohio State, one of the largest university coming from international students coming from India and China. They are the biggest students. Wherever you go to Harvard, you go to London School of Economics, University of Manchester, or Berkeley, you will see a lot of Chinese and Indians, and they will compete, fiercely. They also have a biggest alumni network. During my time, when I met with Indians, they will ask help from their alumni, from their kakak kelas. Mereka minta, zaman dulu kita masih bisa minta bank soal gitu ya, kita minta reference dari mereka, sehingga kalau ujian gampang. Sedangkan Indonesia, they don't have big network. So, struggling, especially in STEM, because not many Indonesian taking STEM school. Usually they taking businesses, finance. That's the challenge. But with today's technology, I experience here, like you mentioned the integrity. Mungkin kalau di Indonesia kita kuliah di universitas di Indonesia, kita nyontek masih nggak apa-apa kadang-kadang. Kita nggak isu sama dosen. Tapi ketika kita ke luar negeri, be cautious ya, because like mention about ChatGPT, it's a good tool. I use ChatGPT every day for my work to help me on the knowledge that I don't know. But once you use the tool, you must be cautious. Karena sekolah sekarang sangat cautious. Once they know that you use tools, they will not forgive you. And you will be expelled because of the tools. And when you are expelled from the university, you cannot go to any university anywhere in the world because all the database is integrated. So you must be cautious. You must be also use the network the network from the alumni, because they can help you. The Ohio State is one of the largest alumni network in Indonesia. Kita punya organisasi namanya Alumnus. Alumnus merupakan payung dari alumni lulusan Amerika Serikat. The Ohio State is one of the biggest. So you guys, when you go to university like Ohio State, you have big alumni network. They can help you, they can assist you. Kalau kita lagi misalnya homesick, they can help you. They can accompany you. Anything, yeah. Don't go to your friend, because usually your friend doesn't know anything like yourself. Go to the alumni, to the seniors, to the graduate, to the alumni network, so they can help you whenever you have a problem with academics. Yeah. That's my experience. Because I encounter, yeah, my daughter also got a scholarship from Kemendikbud. She went to UK. Yeah. And I experienced in UK, the teachers, the professors, it's given. Kita nggak bisa milih ya dosennya siapa. Kadang-kadang dosennya udah given. Ketika kita do research or project, your teacher are given. And they treat you, some teachers treat you differently. Yeah. I'm not saying that all teachers are good, are bad, but some teachers discriminate. But that time that we need assistance from alumni, from seniors, yeah, to help you to make your studies smooth, gitu ya. And then when you graduated, they can help you. They can assist you. Oh, habis saya graduate dari sini, sebaiknya ngapain? Kayak di Ohio State, kita punya kerjasama dengan NASA. Ada orang Indonesia yang bekerja di situ. Jadi kita mau kerja di NASA, kita bisa nanya orang itu, si orang Indonesia itu, supaya bagaimana caranya kita bisa kerja di NASA misalnya, atau dengan Intel. Kita juga ada orang Indonesia yang kerja di situ. So that's a lot of opportunity for you and us to help each other. You become the one that you want at the best. Sekali lagi, kalau kita pilih universitas, jangan hanya pilih ranking. Ranking matters ya, tapi once you in, there's no more talking about ranking. It's all about academics. How you can leverage the opportunity. Then you will compete with all the students from all over the world. They want the same bagel as you. You know, they can try to get the bagel more creatively than you guys. So sometimes we need help also. So, but don't be shy ya, because kalau udah di luar negeri kita nggak boleh malu-malu lagi. Kita harus proaktif, kita harus, pokoknya kalau kita stuck kita harus nanya. Kita harus, nggak usah malu sih. Karena kalau pengalaman saya waktu saya masih seumur kalian, ketika saya malu, I'm lost. I don't know where to go. Nobody help me. Nggak akan ada yang menolong kalau kita nggak ask for help. So we need to do that. And in Ohio State is excellent institution. We can help you from the beginning until the end. Kalau ada kesulitan di akademik atau non akademik, kita bisa bantu. Kita juga bisa bantu. Sekarang udah banyak anak-anak yang ada masalah dengan mental health. Today mental health is an issue. We can help. If you come in frontnya, ask for help. So those are the academics. Setelah lulus, kita juga punya tadi Pak John Wei, Chief John Wei mentioned about the technopreneurship. We have program. We working together with institution. Last week, this week actually, we met with BRIN, we met with Kemendikbud, we met with LPDP, we met with IKN. We talking about partnership. Bagaimana Ohio State bisa bantu Indonesia as a big institution. Kita bisa bantu di bidang riset, kita bisa bantu di bidang pengembangan untuk entrepreneurship. Kita bisa bantu kerjasama dengan perusahaan-perusahaan lokal di Indonesia. So when you graduated, we can help you also in your career. In this, di government maupun non private ya. So we have that on that direction. We very thriving. We try to have partnership with local university, with the government, with the institution around the world, so that we can maximize our potential. Gitu ya. Any question from you guys? You understand, right? If you graduate, it doesn't mean that you will work at what you do. Yeah, okay.
Irma, good.
Thank you. So I think my question is to relate to Mr. Yeah. Not all of us are actually very fast, or not our heart is actually on STEM. So we will or we will not actually, but thank you. If we want, like if our heart is not in STEM, eventually we will be ended up in like agnostic job, which is not our like basic education. And do you think it will be very hard for us to sustain, to adapt faster in that like circumstances? Because basically people have better starting point than us, because we don't actually have the basic education to actually work there. If we like only focus on STEM as our main major, I'm like taking an example of I studied environmental science, but I want to be a doctor or I want to be a consultant. And if I ended up being a consultant, it will be very hard for me to, like, uh, being the same level as everyone else because they have better starting point rather than me. So is it actually very hard for me to adapt? I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay. You mean that you not go onto the stand and then there's a gap. Okay, my experience to become consultant is it's not like okay I can graduate my top notch of my class probably. It doesn't guarantee that you can always work at the consultant firm. The consult from my experience, I'm also been in a consultant. Consultant is very holistic approach ya. Nggak cuma pendidikan kita, tapi kita harus punya leadership. Misalnya, saya sudah dikenal bicara public speaker. I can public speaker in a event atau acara atau organization consultant. Itu juga jadi plus. Kalau waktu kita kuliah, terus kita ikuti konferensi atau seminar, terus kita bisa bawa papers atau project, kita present, that's a plus. Ya. Kita misalnya profesor ada yang, kita punya project ini, kalian ada yang mau involve nggak? Just do it. Walaupun kadang-kadang project apa kita nggak ngerti, tapi itu adalah kesempatan kita untuk belajar. Karena itu akan menjadi portfolio kita. Ketika kita mau coba kerja di konsultan, mereka akan tanya, mereka nggak akan lihat GPA kita, mau 4.0, mau 3.9, mau 3.8, nggak penting. Tapi sebenarnya apa saja pengalaman yang sudah kita lakuin, misalnya tadi project, kemudian internship, co-op, those are very important. Kemudian kalau bisa kita juga bergabung di komunitas. Sekarang udah banyak komunitas kan, komunitas AI, komunitas komputer, komunitas macam-macam, social science, what have you. Sebisa mungkin kita join, kita aktif, kita contribute. That's become our portfolio also. That will help us also in the real world to do the consultant job or job that you guys do. So those things are very important. Makanya seperti Noah tadi ya, kita harus punya good environment yang mendukung kita. Misalnya kita mau ada project, ada komunitas, atau kita diminta untuk jadi public speaking, just do it, because that's the opportunity you will have in the university. Jangan malu-malu, jangan sembunyi di belakang kerja orang lain, karena mereka akan bersaing ketat untuk itu, Okay. Anything else? Thank you, everyone. Applause. Again. I think it's enough. Yeah. Happy. Okay. Thank you.
Applause for Pak Gini. Questions? You do? You do? Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Name for Pak Gini.
Pak Gini, my name is Yukiko. So you say that the Indonesian student when we go to international school is acting like being shy. So can you give us some tips to make us even when we are speaking up, and especially when you say that the teacher at the international school was some of them was kind of discrimination. So like, is there any tips for us to go over that kind of mindset?
Okay. Ya saya sih pengalaman saya perhatiin, I will try to observe ya some Indonesian student. Biasanya datang dari Sentral Jawa, karena mungkin kalau di Jogja, saya orang Solo, saya sih orang Solo ya. Itu sebenarnya basicnya pemalu, saya introvert, nggak bisa ngomong di publik, itu kan dunia sih. Terus because people force me to do it, I have to do it. Tapi memang nggak bisa langsung jam kan. Kita harus mulai dari misalnya kita berteman sama teman-teman, katakanlah nggak harus di Indonesia. Karena orang Indonesia itu kelemahannya kalau di luar negeri itu selalu cari temannya orang Indonesia juga. Sehingga ngomongnya nggak ngomong Inggris tapi ngomong Indonesia. Kemudian kalau misalnya gurunya kalau kita assignment, gurunya bilang ini grammar bisa banget sih. Because ya dikumpul sama orang Indonesia terus, sehingga kita kurang ada exposure. Kalau kita kumpul sama misalnya orang Asia aja, orang India atau orang China atau even European American, they will have a good exposure to you. At least you can talk to your friend in different language kan, nggak cuma bahasa Indonesia gitu ya. Sehingga itu membantu kita untuk lebih speak up. Kalau kita udah merasa comfortable di environment yang mix, ketika di kelas kita mau naik gampang-gampang aja karena itu udah kenal gitu kan. Kalau kita kenal, kita nggak akan khawatir. Tapi kalau kita kumpulin sama orang Indonesia terus itu di classroom isinya macam-macam, orang bule, orang Asia, orang Afrika, ketika compete for attention, they will compete. You are gonna be alone. Kita mulai dengan pergaulan juga. Memang boleh nggak ada salahnya juga bergaul sama orang Indonesia, karena kalau kita butuh apa-apa juga ngomongin ke teman-teman orang Indonesia. Tapi kita buka wawasan, bergaul juga sama yang bukan orang Indonesia, karena mereka ngasih perspektif juga ke kita. Dari situ kita akan bisa build. Nanti maybe Chloe will share her experience ya on working with the community. Those things yang will help a lot. Kalau di luar negeri sangat help. Karena terang ya, sepintar-pintarnya kita, kalau kita sendirian will claim that everybody will shoot for you. Tapi kalau kita bisa create community, kita bisa bersama-sama, itu mungkin ngebantu. Ya memang the confidence that I feel will grow as we go ya. I mean, not always. Tiba-tiba saya jadi pemberani nggak juga sih. Perlu latihan, perlu. Tadi saya bilang harus proaktif ya, harus proaktif. Kalau nggak tahu nanya. That's the simple one. Kalau nggak tahu, nanya, jangan takut. Salah nanya nggak apa-apa. Saya dulu salah nanya, diputar-putar sama orang, tapi akhirnya dapat juga jawabannya karena saya nekat. Walaupun ya ngomong Inggrisnya masih orang Solo gitu kan, ngomong Inggrisnya kacau balau gitu kan, tapi nggak apa-apa.
Thank you.
What's your name again? Yukiko. Yukiko, good. Very Japanese. So that's anyway, we will have more time later for Q&A. Just a quick summary from Pak Givi. Don't be shy, right? The more important thing for us to learn if you go study abroad is to learn the culture and exposure. Okay, don't mingle a lot with same Indonesian. I'm not saying that you cannot. You still have to build a network, but spend time with global citizens because the world is getting smaller. You want to change your mindset. I want to be a global citizen. Okay, so that's very, very important. A lot of other things that we can discuss it during Q&A later on. I would call upon Chloe. Okay, applause for Chloe. Class of 2017. Her experience is even much more relevant now because mine's like 89 outdated, right? So you are much more relevant. Please, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and speakers as well. So the most fun thing about me being here today is on Friday afternoon, I received a LinkedIn message from a another Ohio State alumni, and she's not here today, Annika, and asking or telling me that the alumni network was in Jakarta the last couple of days, and there was going to be a dinner in Bali where I've been living the last 3 years, and I was going to get the opportunity to meet some more alumni from Ohio State. So I was not expecting to speak today, got asked yesterday, so forgive me in advance for the rambles that may happen. I wanted to ask quickly, Pat Brian told me that there's many students who are preparing to go, there's 2 different groups within this room right now. One is going to be going to school in the fall. Is that correct? Okay, so raise your hand if you're in the group that's going in the fall. So it's this side. Oh, the quiet side is the one that's leaving soon. Okay. All right. And then this group, you will be going the year after. Is that correct? Okay, awesome. So the group that's over in the side that is going to school in the fall, who here is considering, is it all abroad, or are you also considering local schools in Indonesia? All over the world? Okay, that's way more impressive than myself, right? I only looked at schools in the US. I remember the feeling of choosing a school. I remember being so scared. It was like the biggest decision of my life, right? You think about your job. I've heard you all speaking about graduate programs, right? The whole concept that we talked about earlier is the process, right? I have been learning that so much since I studied, since I got a corporate career, left my corporate career, started coming, and now I'm living in Bali, questioning constantly, is this one choice, the next very step I'm taking, gonna screw up the rest of my life, right? So I focus on the line sometimes, not the donut or the bagel. I worry about what the decision I'm taking right in this moment, how it could negatively impact my life. I get worried that it might not bring me to my dreams. And that's something I've been learning a lot in my journey since leaving America, is trusting myself. And trusting that the next very step that I take is going to be good enough, and from there I can then make my next decision. And yes, we want to plan, we want to think forward, we want to see what we think about in our future. And yes, we maybe have a dream job, or maybe know the major we want to take, but it's okay to be in this moment that you're in right now, look at your options, weigh the pros and cons, and just take a step and start moving in a direction. Your decisions, like when I chose Ohio State, for example, I was very excited about my decision, but I was still scared. I still thought about those second schools, the other school that I turned down, what my life would have looked like had I studied in Connecticut or Michigan, if I dare say the state of Michigan, because it's a rivalry with Ohio and Michigan. If you go to Ohio State, you'll learn that very quick. So, where I'm going at with all of this is there's a lot of options for you right now in this moment. I'm sure you're scared what's going to happen next. But what I'll say is that you really learning to trust yourself and to trust your process is going to be really important on the rest of your life's journey. So a little bit more about myself. So I knew, same with you all, I was a great high school student. Not nearly as brilliant as I've heard all of you are. Pat Brian was telling me what it took to get you into this room today, and you are all exceptional. So I know you probably hopefully know that, but really give yourself some credit. And a lot of what we're talking about today is some of those soft skills, right? So some of those interpersonal effectiveness where you can communicate and work with one another. And that's something that I was fortunate in high school. I was super social, loved to talk with people, and I'm sure all of you, I hear you chit-chatting between the speakers, very social as well. And I knew I was good at math and science, and so everyone suggested that I became an engineer. And something that supported me in selecting the university that I went to was considering that I didn't know what type of engineer I wanted to be. I knew I was smart. I was like, okay, I'm smart, but what do I actually want from life? And with that, a big choice for me, and when you're thinking about what university you go to, yes, not the rankings, and I know we've been standing up here pushing Ohio State a lot, just because we all love it so much, but even in your consideration, even if it's not Ohio State, truly considering what other programs are there. And what something that I could have changed in my journey was I was so single-sighted on an engineering degree that I didn't allow myself to explore some of the incredible other programs and other minors and just courses that I had the opportunity to take because I was at such a wonderful university. So I took a sociology class my freshman year, and I remember it changed my life. It was so cool learning about human interactions. And because I was so single-sighted, I never took another sociology course. I focused so much on the straight A's, and yes, my scholarships depended on it, so it was important. I did, in order for me to go to school, I had to have scholarship. I think that's something that you guys are all going to be facing as well. You have to maintain a certain merit to maintain your scholarship. But think about how you can do it creatively, where you can still take some courses that are going to inspire you in other ways beyond STEM, beyond engineering. Another course I dropped because I didn't think I had the time or I wasn't going to get the straight A was a humanitarian engineering class. One of my biggest regrets was dropping that class, and I remember my professor sitting there talking to me saying, "Why are you dropping?" And I said, "Well, because I'm too busy, I don't have time." And he said, "I know," because he knew me. He's like, "I know what course load you have. I know what's going on. Is it just that you're scared you're not going to get an A or like 100%?" And I didn't tell him the truth, but that was the answer. And had I just allowed myself to, be spread a little bit more thin and explore a topic of interest, I would have had an opportunity to learn a whole other field that I could apply industrial engineering to. So if I could say one piece of advice as you're looking for a school and entering into the journey that you're embarking on, is be open-minded to the different opportunities that are out there for you beyond just engineering, beyond just health and medicine, beyond any of the STEM-related fields that you're looking into, and consider how a sociology class could actually make you a better engineer, right? We've had some questions about shyness, which I appreciate immensely that you brought that up, and thank you for that question, because there's different courses, and exposing yourself to different groups and communities on campus can allow you to feel more comfortable in sharing a different view. And earlier you shared, I can't remember your name, but you shared a view that was kind of oppositional to, don't cut the line, patience, right? And to be able to express an opinion and a thought that is different than everyone, right? I think we all kind of started agreeing that we should cut the line and get the bagel, right? He's like, no, let's not cut the line, let's be patient. And there's another lesson in that. So giving yourself the chance to get involved in other courses or other communities where you could practice expressing yourself. Or I know I can speak to Ohio State's perspective, but we had large lecture halls where maybe it is scary to raise your hand, but then you had smaller, so that would be lecture, and then you would have, I can't remember what the other part of the course was called, but then there was a class that it was only 30 students, and you were with a teaching assistant. So maybe you had an opportunity to speak more directly with and it's not like the professor, it would be the teaching assistant, so that you might feel a little bit more comfortable in that setting. And masih belajar bahasa Indonesia, tidak bagus. So I'm not sure what Pak Divi was saying to you exactly about working on shyness, but giving an opportunity to, maybe if you don't want to raise your hand in class, to stay after. There's other ways to engage with your peers, other ways to engage with your professors beyond just raising your hand in class, right? I respect every one of you for speaking English and potentially thinking about studying in America or another country where you're needing to speak not your native tongue. I never had to experience that. So yes, there are a lot of Americans and a lot of Europeans who might not understand and respect it to the level, like in the UK, who also didn't have to learn a different language. They might not understand it to a huge, as much as I now respect it living in a different country. But allow yourself to give yourself a chance in whatever way feels most comfortable. Like, okay, I'll talk to the professor after class, and then you'll get more and more comfortable with the professor. They know you a little bit more, and then you might feel more comfortable raising your hand in class. But maybe raising your hand in class doesn't really actually matter because you offer the professor support after class in another way, and that's a way that works. Like something that I did with my professors is they always knew I would give them feedback, right? So I had one professor who no one would ever raise their hand in his class, and I would go up to him afterwards and explain why. I said, listen, you're asking this question and we don't understand what you're saying. And, can you please maybe explain it in a different way? And so from that moment, every class, he asked me for feedback. He asked me to do a master's program with him. It's things like that. So making yourself useful to your peers and to your professors is another really great way to engage and make yourself known and learn as you're studying. I want to take some questions. I also want to share a little bit about where I'm at now. I'm not sure how much time I have. I can't see the clock or anything. I'm good. Okay. Does anyone have any questions before I share a little bit about what I've done postgraduate, or not graduate program? I don't have a graduate degree. I just am an undergrad. Does anyone have any questions for me about picking a school, transitioning into school? I just graduated in 2017, so it's only 6 years ago. I was in your shoes not too long ago.
I want to ask about your professional experience. You said that you're struggling choosing university. What about us? We gotta choose a university abroad, and it's not all just about ranking, right? It's about environment. So how do we know what environment is the best? When you Googled it, every university said that you're good, you're the best, you're perfect. So how should we contact the alumni from there, or what should we do?
It's a wonderful, wonderful question. I think Dr. Latz has expressed and shared a lot of different beautiful aspects about Ohio State. I almost started tearing up, to be honest, because I just love the campus and love the university so much. And I think what I'll say is I was fortunate that I could visit the universities in person. But a big aspect is to consider your personal interests and what really you feel comfortable with. So if you all visited, I know you're not all from Jakarta, but has everyone here visited Jakarta? Yeah? Yes? Hands up? Everyone's visited Jakarta, right? Okay, so that's a very, very big city, right? The equivalent of, you thinking more New York, LA, that type of thing. What's really great about those cities is it's huge. There's so much going on. It's hustle bustle. There's a lot of different things. But with Columbus, for example, I really enjoyed being in a city. And so this is something I considered when I was looking for universities. Is I wanted to be in a city so that I was easily accessible to other things outside of campus. But I didn't want to be in a city that had a university. I wanted to be in a city that encompassed, that the university was a big part of. Something to consider, and I'm pretty sure it's NYU, they've got buildings all over New York City, you don't really have a campus. And if you're thinking about a traditional campus, Ohio State, I'm not sure how significant this is for you all, but it has its own zip code. So it literally is its own entire region, it's an entire property. So when you're on campus, you're amongst Buckeyes, you're amongst peers, you're amongst other friends, professors. So that was something that was really significant for me. Perhaps sport culture. I think something that I lacked a lot in high school was our sports teams were not that great. And we touched on the shoe a little bit, but the camaraderie, and not just at school, but the alumni network. I think being someone who wasn't from Ohio, I didn't understand the Buckeyes. I didn't get their passion for football. I got it because I like football, but it's more than just that. It's the community. You feel so connected to someone. I was hiking in Australia and someone was wearing an Ohio State hat, and I felt like the camaraderie immediately. So considerations for truly like what type of environment you want to live in. Do you want to live in a big city? Do you want to live in a city with a university? Do you want to live in somewhere that it's just like out? So one of the schools I looked at was UConn, I think, and there's not really a big city nearby, so you're like stuck on campus kind of. Whereas at Ohio State, I could go downtown to watch a professional hockey game. So considerations like that. Also considerations for, I know with STEM, at least, when I was exploring, so I was looking for a school 8-9 years ago, but when I was looking, so especially for STEM, something that I found challenging was a lot of universities didn't actually have a first-year engineering program. I'm not sure if this is something that you guys have noticed or if it's changed since I was looking for schools, but something that was really powerful about Ohio State was that we had a first-year engineering program. So as soon as you got to campus, you had the opportunity to start seeing what your future could look like and redirect if you needed to. So you didn't have to choose your exact discipline immediately, but you knew at least I'll be in engineering school, and then you could explore mechanical, industrial, or any of those other types. So considerations for what your first year is going to look like and how that can shape what you're doing in school. I hope that answers some things on how to select. Does anyone have any other questions? Oh, I'll come back to you.
My name is Thomas. So I'm Thomas. What is Thomas for us? As later when we study in undergraduate, first, what experience do we need to get to support our life after our study, maybe when we work in industry or for our previous studies?
What was the question? After studies?
What experience we need to get during our undergraduate studies?
Oh, what experience do you need? So you asked what experience you need in your undergraduate studies to work after? Okay. That's a great question. So what I'll say, and I'm not as well versed with what it takes for getting internships and whatnot within the university, but I know that there are lots of opportunities, and Dr. Labs can speak on that in more detail. But what I'll say is really being involved in your discipline, and also really showing, I think it's a lot of the confidence, right, of yourself. So joining these programs and seeing how those connect into the thing that you want to do in the future. So when someone's sitting there interviewing you for a position, if you're just sitting there and just spitting off that you got good grades and you followed the rules and you did exactly as they told you to, and you haven't really considered how your education connects to the real world, they're not as likely to hire you than if you are to sit there and say, I joined this program, we ran recycling cleanups, or trash cleanups every day, and showed that you took, if you're for example, if you were studying environmental science and you joined an organization that had events that were going on to impact the environment. You can then sit in a discussion with the hiring manager and show them that you're actually out there in the world doing the thing that relates to your future career. And that doesn't have to be perfect. So my first internship, I was working, so my background's in industrial engineering. My first internship was in a manufacturing plant. I was wearing steel-toed boots, it was dirty, it was grimy. I then went into consulting. So again, with choice, you don't have to worry that the first thing that you choose or the first experience, the thing that you did to build your resume, build your CV, was the right thing or the wrong thing. Because in that moment, in the manufacturing plant, I was learning people skills. I was learning how to engage with an engineer, with the business people. And the stories that I learned and the experience I gained from that experience, from an interpersonal communications perspective, I still speak to this day. When I was an 18-year-old, I still tell those stories now as a 27-year-old because of how much it shaped my ability to work with engineers and to work with business owners. So I'd say just really taking every experience you have and seeing how, and being really reflective. What does it teach you about life, about business, about what you want for your future? And then over there.
Okay, hello Chloe, my name is Mayana, and I'm curious about what type of projects or maybe research that we will do in US universities. So I want to know more about maybe your experience. Could you tell us maybe what any interesting or innovative projects that you have worked on in Ohio, and maybe what the impact on you? Thank you.
Wonderful question. So there's so many opportunities that when we had asked earlier about internships and whatnot, I know at least with the School of Engineering, they have a lot of career fairs that are also there recruiting for internships. Again, I won't speak directly to the supply of visas and work visas. I'm not sure of the details on that. But there's so many companies, like Intel is building infrastructure in Columbus, like there's so many companies coming to Ohio State begging for people to work with them. They specifically, like when I graduated, I went to a talk kind of like this with the company, that it was a company up front, and they were Accenture. It's a global consulting firm. And they came directly to the Ohio State Engineering School to speak to the Ohio State engineering students to come to work for Accenture. So there's a lot of different opportunities for internships with very large organizations. And having a really reputable name, very well-known name on your resume is great. Not if it's just Ohio State, I know there's plenty of other schools that have similar things and experiences. For myself, some projects, so my senior capstone, we worked with Walmart. It was an interesting project, which is, it's actually quite funny because so my discipline was industrial engineering, and for those who don't know what industrial and systems engineering is actually, raise your hand if you do not know what industrial engineering does. Do not. So if I call down someone who doesn't have their hand up, will you say what industrial engineering is? Maybe I won't do that to you. Okay. So thank you for those who participated. But industrial engineering is most business people that I speak to say if they could have studied a different form of engineering in their undergrad, they would have actually chosen industrial engineering before getting their master's in business association because it's a very great intermediary between engineers and business, because industrial engineering is all about optimization and efficiency. So I have peers who are in automotive, my words are not working today, aviation, manufacturing, healthcare, consulting, finance, anything, because they've studied how to make processes better. So this capstone that I did, I was working for Walmart to help look at their warehouses and see how they could lose less money from damages to their products. So we went in, every week we're working with mentors from Walmart, collecting data, proposing solutions. And what was funny was ultimately not to leave this as a downside, but because it was such a large organization, some of the impacts weren't actually directly installed in the company because it was too busy. So some of my peers actually were working with family-owned businesses in the Ohio community who were actually able to forex profits and do all these different things for the organization because they were much more apt to take some of the solutions. Maybe that's not the best response to that question of the great things, but our labs were great. Like I was doing different things in labs where we were learning about plastic manufacturing. As an industrial engineer, we were able to do lots of studies in physics and chemistry. We studied all the different disciplines. So not as much in the undergraduate program as I think some of the graduate programs are able to do a lot more of the in-depth research. Anyone have any other questions about undergrad?
I think our time is pretty much.
Okay.
Last fall, so we also invite everybody to lunch.
Okay.
Applause for Chloe. So, thanks again. And bottom line, as Chloe mentioned, be open mind, right? You guys are pretty good. I would say IQ academically, right? No questions. But as you move into university, you need EQ. You know what is EQ? Huh? Emotional quotient, right? You need to learn that. And then AQ. You know what is AQ? No? IQ, EQ, and then AQ. We'll talk about that later, okay? We don't want to spoil that, okay? So, I will invite again Dr. Lex to say a few words later on, now, just to add on before we end this. So please go ahead, Dr. Lex. Applause for Dr. Lex.
This has been a great conversation, and I want to thank my colleague, the Alumni Association, and graduates for being here today and for your excellent questions. We've learned a lot from you. I did bring a YouTube video, just 2 minutes, and it interviews 3 different international students who are studying at Ohio State. And I think some of the questions about adjusting, community, belonging, finding ways to be supported and to seek support are found in this short video, and I think it's a great way to close the program. If you could run that for me, I'd appreciate it. Thank you again for your time today.